Welcome, everybody, to Rad Pod and Chill. Hi-Fi just made me turn off Rancid. I was listening to Harry Bridges, and I didn't feel like turning it off, but I guess I can press pause on my...
Copyright violations.
You know what? I know all the guys. They'd be cool with it. I know the owners of the label. I know the songwriters, poets, bass players, drummers, guitarists. One of the greatest moments of my life was being at the It's Not Dead Fest. I was on stage with Pulley, speaking as one of my favorite bass players, and Tim Armstrong from Rancid sang a song with them. And right when he was done, he collapsed right into my arms, and it was quite a moment. It was sort of like a punk rock pieta. It was quite beautiful. Anyway, as you can see, I'm effervescent tonight. Because, it was a slow news day, guys,
Nothing happened today. Nothing.
No, nothing happened today. You know what? I did not cry because I've trained myself not to feel much of anything. And I did not cry until I got a text message from Ruth Ben-Ghiat, and then I cried because, it's a moment for
Ruth, stop making Heidi cry, Ruth.
It was a moment for we warriors in the trenches. And honestly, when the history of this is written, however it plays out, it's going to be the frickin' moms and dads in the front lines, who I think will they'll certainly be my heroes. So yeah. Anyway, So the first time ever, Trump's always number one on all the wrong lists, and as you guys know, he was criminally indicted. And why that matters, according to Joyce Vance, is because it's the origin story of his election interference. So it's more than just a hush money case, in my opinion. But I know Jim has lots to say. I'm going to paint my nails. Well, you gentlemen talk amongst yourselves.
Go, Jim, go.
Well, I mean, I know I'm supposed to be all fucking effervescent, but
no, we don't expect that from you, Jim.
Fireworks and shit.
I'm sorry, but thank you, Alvin Bragg, for doing your fucking job.
Thank you.
7 years after the crime happened, 7 fucking years after the crime, after there was any relevance to it really at all, which was before the fucking 2016 election. Thank you for doing your job and stringing this dumb muffin top up by his orange shirt and curlies. Great. But when is this motherfucker going to get indicted for treason? Which he does all day long. He said he's going to attack Mexico. He said he's going to attack Mexico. Why are we worried about his fucking porn star money? I'm sorry. That's great. Thank you for somebody doing their job. Don't get me wrong. I'm so happy about it. But in the meantime,
are you really,
Mike Flynn is out here running psyops on you and using Donald Trump as his little marionette, his little fucking, orange flabby Pinocchio. That is what's going on here. Stop focusing on this dumb fuck. He doesn't matter anymore. Yes, he needs to be held accountable. But what the Justice Department and the goddamn government needs to do is wake up to the actual problem, which are all the goddamn fascists running psyops. Thank you for coming to Mike TED.
You better know.
Jim is, yeah.
You better know.
Oh, Jim speaks for the team. I feel you, but Hi-Fi, my lead post on my Substack, has Marty's assessment. And you were Martin Scheel, for those of you who don't follow what we do, we have a financial correspondent for this show who is he's like the raddest retired IRS criminal investigator. put a lot of people behind bars, helped expert at following the money. And for my Betty Dangerous Substack group Speakeasy, Marty was our guest, and he basically broke down all the different legal cases, and he told us the strengths and weaknesses of this case. But in the report from him today that I posted, for him, this is a big deal, even though it's, 7 years and 4 decades late. But Trump built his real fake empire on the backs of contractors and electricians and subcontractors that he never paid. So there should be some, karma right now.
But there never will be, right? And part of the problem here is, and you said 4 decades, and I'm sorry, but I'm this guy. Donald Trump has been a Russian mafia lieutenant since the mid-'80s. At the latest, he was probably dicking around with him well before that. But he went to fucking Moscow, and then he came back and he started doing anti-NATO ads.
Yeah, I know.
What is confusing about this? So what happened is Donald Trump somehow got in with the goddamn government. And apparently, maybe they thought he was cooperating or something. In the meantime, he's doing Russian mafia shit and ripping off people right and left. Us.
Yeah.
Us,
and
Americans.
They've been letting him fucking get away with it forever. So again, apologies for not, jumping on the indictment day bandwagon. I just don't give a shit about his hush money. What I care about is the fact that he tried to overthrow the United States government. That's what I care about.
And is still trying. So
yes.
that point is not lost on me.
There
will be more indictments. Again, we will. I've been saying it for how long? 2023 is the year we find out if we are still a rule of law country. That is what this year is about. And I just
wrote to celebrate Indictment Day. I wish you a lovely time in your festivities. I happen to be an atheist when it comes to those kinds of holidays.
Well, high five. We did promise that we were going to throw a party at my crib when he was indicted, and you were going to bring the booze since I don't drink. So we're actually going to have to do that. I got to keep my promises, So
put it this way: we'll have a completion party when Robert Mercer and Peter Teal and Joseph Lonsdale and Mike, completed. We cleared the fucking board.
Okay. All
these people are trying to fuck up my country. A lot of them aren't even from here.
Yeah.
And they're trying to burn my shit down? No, I don't think so.
Oh, man. Speaking of burning shit down, my bros here have been lighting shit up. They have been lighting shit up on the interwebs. I think we should point out that between the three of us and President Jackie Singh, we kind of wreck shop. So do you want to take it from here, Jim or High Five?
Jim, you start.
Yeah.
You start? All right.
Yeah, Jim, you start.
So I have, for quite some time, been concerned about the untimely death of Michael Hastings. Michael Hastings was a fine reporter who wrote a book called The Operators. Excerpts of it were in Rolling Stone magazine. And by the way, in The Operators were lots of stories about Michael T. Flynn and Charles Flynn, both of whom worked for Stanley McChrystal. So this book was an expose about Stanley Crystal and the absolute clusterfuck that he ran in Afghanistan with Mike Flynn and Charles Flynn as his lieutenants. So he wrote that book in 2012. And in 2013, at the same time, that Mike Flynn was physically in GRU headquarters in Moscow. Michael Hastings' car ran into a light pole at 100 miles an hour, and he died mysteriously without any indication of why the fuck that happened. So, in addition to that odd set of circumstances, one of the last people that communicated with Michael Hastings was a guy named Joe Biggs. Joe Biggs, you may know from his recent appearance in a trial for seditious conspiracy in the insurrection that Michael Flynn planned. So Joe Biggs was one of the last guys that Michael Hastings spoke to before this crazy car accident. And that has always seemed odd, and there's lots of circumstances around that. And so my friend, I've been very public about it. My friend Hi-Fi decided to go straight to one of the sources, which is Joseph Flynn, who my readers may know from my beanpole and other homophobic slurs that Joe likes to use when he trolls me on Substack. And Hi-Fi went straight at him and said, hey, look, oh, and also he threatened Heidi's life, and then she got death threats.
Yeah.
He's a shit.
Awesome.
You know. Also the little brother of Mike Flynn and Charles Flynn. And so Hi-Fi said, what about Michael Hastings? And Joe Flynn said, so sad, too bad, and doubled down and tripled down on being an absolute callous, mocking asshole about a guy who died investigating his brother and his brother's boss. So after all that happened, Putin invades Crimea on Mike Flynn's watch. Then Mike Flynn gets fired. Then what happens to Mike Flynn? He starts something called Flynn Intel Groups, where? In Stanley McChrystal's kitchen. Yeah. So what transpired after that was our friend Jackie Singh, President-to-be Jackie Singh, wrote a brilliant, amazing article laying out all of the context, all of what's real and what isn't around the mystery of this death, and laid out the implications behind what Joe Flynn is doing, and how that should impact the way the people sees this traitorous family. Well, that is my intro to what happened.
I think the one thing that was missing from Joe Flynn's commentary was any sympathy for the dead. Number one, we had just talked about a former partner, Peter Teals, who, there's an investigation into his death. And the first thing you do, regardless of what is going on, is you show empathy for people. There was none of that. We don't know what happened to this investigative reporter. The thing that was, widely reported was just that the case was concluded much faster than these cases are usually concluded. We don't know what happened, but to show that type of, complete and utter lack of empathy is, and on the one hand, not surprising considering his tweeting for my arrest resulted in a cascade of death threats. He has been sending you emails now for more than a year that are, completely vile in nature. They're cyber terrorism, hate terrorism. And I get it. He does not like the fact that we report on his brother, but someone's got to fucking do it. This has been going on a long time. He's been out there radicalizing our family members, so, sorry if you don't like the fact that we are hyper focused on smoking out the fascists, but that's what we do. So
yeah, it's a little more than that with Joe. Joe is Joe Flynn, and I'm sure he's watching. Hi, Joe. Joe Flynn is patient zero in Mike Flynn's cult.
That's sad.
Joe Flynn, I promise you, was one of the earliest people that Flynn experimented on to figure out how to make people act like he makes people act. Joe was a normal sort of like, a conservative Democrat kind of dude. And then, I don't know, sometime back 6-7 years, when Mike Flynn started going crazy, suddenly Joe Flynn started doing all kinds of criminal shit, including running the First Amendment Praetorians, which is a paramilitary group, which was one of the first people to go in the Capitol, and is basically Mike Flynn's personal guard. Joe Flynn is basically, Mike's fixer, because he's just not quite smart enough to do anything more than break kneecaps and like yell at libs on Twitter and troll Substack and shit. Regardless,
he's not very good at that.
Well, no, but pardon me, but he also has a very large network of terrorists that he works with, including through Mike Flynn Jr., his nephew, who's friends with some of the central terrorists to, everybody that's been, after us.
The online domestic terrorists that we've identified. So I do want to say that when I saw the emails that he was sending you, because of the way I live my life, I immediately put him on my prayer list. And I know you guys think that's corny, but that is how I live my life, because I could see a very conflicted person. And there's a lot of people that I know who were, former Democrats who got mind fucked along the way. And those are the same people that I every night pray will be relieved of this, undue influence that they're under. There has been a targeting of our minds collectively. It's ongoing. It's global. I wrote about it today. I'm horrified to know that in Africa, Russia has launched a media site that is completely dedicated to twisting the minds of the citizens of that, continent. And it is, it should not be allowed. But it is, and this is our war. This is the hardest war, because we fight it often in isolation. And I'm glad that we just keep showing up day after day, week after week, to do the work that corporate media seems to not have the stomach for. And we had a brilliant episode. A breaking news episode dedicated to a warrior out of Vancouver who went after her domestic abuser, her online terrorist who had harassed her for 7 years. She came on our show to talk about what can be done to end online abuse and targeted harassment. And what happened when she came on our show? She got swarmed by the same accounts that have been traumatizing all of us for all these years, except not traumatizing Hi-Fi. he traumatizes back.
It's not my fault.
Can I just say that attacking someone who has successfully prosecuted a multi-year coordinated harassment campaign is not only despicable and emotionally sadistic, it's just fucking stupid. Like, do you really think she isn't gonna see through your dumb shit? Mm-hmm. All you do is
expose yourself
every day, all day.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you tired? You poor,
sad
little people.
They're not tired.
Little sad fucking people. Can I say another thing that pissed me off today, real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I like to talk about things that piss me off. You may have noticed.
Okay, but after you talk about what you're pissed off, I'm gonna play a clip of Jody on our show. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I had the fucking like MSNBC or whatever on while I'm doing my shit, and I see this Chiron with that old 2018 picture of the guy holding the Q up, you know, that one, like holding the sign. The same fucking picture you've been seeing for 3 fucking years. Sorry. It said below, conspiracy theorists target, hospital workers, target, government work. No. Stop falling for the dumb ass propaganda that the people who keep coming after us want to sell you, which is that QAnon is a conspiracy theory and that the people who follow it are conspiracy theorists. Fuck you. No. That is not how it works. It's not a conspiracy theory that has brainwashed 30% of America. That is not a thing. That doesn't happen. First of all, conspiracy theories, here are a few conspiracy theorists: lawyers, judges, juries, journalists, researchers, anyone who needs to figure out how a crime that was committed happened. As long as it happened between 2 people, it's a conspiracy. So if you're interested in crimes, for example, the crime that the goddamn country is being swarmed by fascists, you might want to have a theory about the conspiracy people are doing that, because it's probably just not one guy, right? It's probably a fucking conspiracy of people who are doing that on purpose. So what they do is they take people like me or any journalist who actually tries to figure shit out. They call us a conspiracy theorist, and then they call QAnon conspiracy theorists. So then we're the same, right? No. QAnon victims can't make theories. They don't make theories. The reason they don't make theories is because they're brainwashed, because they've been harmed psychologically by psychological operations. You're not making a theory. You're following a cult leader, not a theory. So it's very, very important that we're precise in this language, because what happens when this language gets perverted over time, you end up with 400 million guns in the United States, because the fucking language of the Constitution got changed over time, and that became a reality. That all of a sudden the Second Amendment said your right to have a fucking howitzer shall not be infringed, when it said nothing of the sort. It's the same thing. They're trying to shift your mind into thinking that QAnon was some kind of big, just mysterious, weird thing that happened. That they're just weird conspiracy. No. It's warfare. And the people that want to make you think it's a conspiracy theory are, whether they know it or not, part of a psychological war to cover up some of the most important crimes that were ever committed in America. Thank you.
Baby, take a bow. Bravo. High five.
So one of the things that set Jim off was, Jackie Singh and I were talking about the article and Michael Hastings and everything. And we were just kind of doing it on Twitter, just talking back and forth. And out of nowhere, somebody came at me sideways, tried to mess with me for 6 hours. Of course, I completely crushed them with everything I've done. But yeah, that's not cool, man. And then after it all, I figured out the account was actually following some of our single purpose hate accounts. And it all makes me sad. I'm just so tired of it,
Well, so what I've been doing, as you guys know, is because I'm under siege daily, hourly, minutely, I continually update the file to law enforcement, because targeted online harassment of journalists and activists and humanists and anybody there's actually laws against this shit. So so that's what I do. But I also believe that most of the low level players and harassments and the lowest people on the rung of the, domestic terror that we are dealing with, cognitive warfare we're dealing with, the cyber warfare that we're in, is mostly a distraction from the boss level. And clearly, the work we do got the attention of the boss level, or we wouldn't have these harassment campaigns against us ongoing. So I'm just focusing on the work. I'm focusing on building out the community that supports the work that we do. It's growing exponentially every single day. And for me, I do have to pause and acknowledge that this criminal indictment is meaningful to me. It's not the treason, Jim. It's not, the delay, the untimeliness, all of that. But I promised my daughter on November 9th, 2016, that we were going to get that fucker. Because my daughter's the strongest person I know, and she was crying in my arms, because she knew what it meant, because she's really smart. And, it may not come when you want it, but it does come on time. And that's an old Watts Prophet line. And I repeat that in my head. So for me, it's like today's a moment, and I am going to acknowledge the moment. So I've been working really hard for 7 fucking years.
I disagree with that slogan entirely. It does not come on time unless it comes on time. And it was on time like 7 fucking years ago. So sorry. That's a nice aphorism. I disagree with it entirely.
Can I ask a question?
For me, it's been 7 years, Jim. This day is fucking meaningful to me.
I know.
It's meaningful.
This is a small party. This is a little. This is just a little huzzah. Good job.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to the war.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Right.
And we should do that.
Hey, damn it! No, I forgot. Speaking of war, I tweeted at General Michael Hayden because he was talking about how he was seeing all the messaging about the anti-trans stuff and the kids. It was after the shooting. And I said, look, General, we got to do something about this hybrid warfare that the GOP and Russia have going on. It's killing our kids. We have a 5th column in cognitive warfare going on. This is no bueno. And he gets it. He retweeted it. So if General Michael Hayden fucking sees it, where is President Bush? Send him to the ICC. Just kidding. I'm actually talking about where's President Biden? Sorry, I start thinking about this whole network. And
so hold on a second.
Bush, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Is it? Hold on. Is it so wizard snot? Is it wizard snot?
Actually, no. This was pancakes. Wow, that was.
Oh my God.
I went off. No, where is President Biden? Why isn't he fucking acknowledging this? What is going on? And I mean, Jody Vance fucking, she sees it. As a matter of fact, let's listen to her talk while I try to recover from that fucking gaffe right there. Okay.
It was just a Freudian slip.
It was. I'm just thinking about him being a war criminal too. Anyway, here's Jody.
I think it's very important that we have these conversations and that we no longer stay silent when we suffer in the crosshairs of harassment, whatever that might look like, whatever the reason behind it might be. It is not okay to be harassed.
Yeah, it's not okay to be harassed.
Yeah, it's never okay. And the thing is, I wrote in kind of an expose on this and I explained it. The shtick of the paid harassers who the ex-journos who make their living harassing people, the shtick is to abuse the target, and then when the target defends themselves, then to claim that they're the victim. So the abuser claims to be the victim. It's a very old trope. And that's kind of like the primary game. So you're doing your work, you're going along in life, and all of a sudden, 50 people are discrediting you and doing memes and whatnot. And if you defend yourself, which I do not, I just block and move on. But if you defend yourself, then the abusers claim they're the victim. And that's the racket. So I think the more that you know, the less impact it can have. And I wrote something on chaos and capture today. Did you get that, Hi-Fi? It's
I
really,
don't know. Text it to me real fast.
It's really important to note that chaos is what precedes fascists seizing power. And I did a whole report on that today, so people can understand that we can't look at chaos events and destabilization events myopically. We have to look at it as part of trying to create trauma and fear in the population, which makes it much easier to stoke an event that allows fascists to seize power. So we can no longer look at the violent episodes and just lurch around, going from trauma to trauma. We have to see it as part of a bigger play. And everybody in every community this year in 2023 has to mobilize and take part in the labor of democracy. We will crush him and we will win in 2024, but it's going to require everybody in their communities to work very hard. And I lay out a whole list of things that people can do because we don't have to be the victim. We can go on offense, and we have to go on offense. So that's my TED Talk.
Tell a story.
What's that?
I'm going to tell a story real fast. Man. Shut up. I'm going to tell a story. It's a story.
Kind of scary.
Hey.
All right.
It's a story from my childhood.
Can I put a timer on or something?
This will be a short story. I promise it'll be over in like 2 minutes. All right. So this is when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of public television, right? And public television used to feature, like BBC David Attenborough type stuff. And I remember watching this one David Attenborough special about baboons. And it was about a baboon tribe. And there was this big old baboon, and he was the leader of the tribe, right? And one day, a whole bunch of young males, troublemakers, came along, and they wanted to take over the tribe, right? But they didn't go at the leader of the tribe right away. No, what they did was they went amongst the tribe, and they started causing fights and like craziness inside the tribe. So all the baboons are getting worked up, right? And so the big baboon is like running around, and he's trying to calm the tribe. And these male baboons are still causing problems everywhere. And eventually, when the problems are like completely out of hand, all the young males jumped the alpha male, killed him, and then stopped all the fighting. And they had completely taken over the tribe. Anyway, that's just a story from when I was a kid.
Those are fascist baboons. That's what that is. That was a fascist authoritarian takeover of baboons. I mean, literally.
I was just talking about this nature program I saw as a kid.
Plan, right? The plan is, so William Lind wrote this book called about fourth generation warfare, and it was all about those baboons. It was all about creating these little identity cults and have those tribes fight each other. That is what they've been doing in other countries for decades, is creating identity politics, which becomes more important to the individual than their national loyalty or whatever loyalty it is they're trying to break. The idea is to build an identity that's more important than that. And so that's, you know, basically what was going on with the baboons is everything sucks, so let's create chaos, and then, you know, the authoritarian's going to come in and fix everything, right? Only I can fix it. It's the same fucking bullshit, baboon style. So, you know, yeah. David Attenborough, anti-fascist.
I am so excited about our upcoming episode. Like, I am over the moon excited. Did I tell you who our guest is going to be? Did I inform you guys? Yeah, President Jackie Singh.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, President Jackie Singh's coming back.
Nice. We can talk about.
She's building her own army of people to actually fight back against all of this harm, and I'm here for it. You know.
Indeed. So, wow, I'm really high.
Well, Jim, I guess it's up to us.
You didn't even interrupt me.
Hey, look.
Oh, here it is.
There's Heidi's blog.
Thank you.
High five. For a second. Yes.
So yeah, we're seeing history repeat. Chaos events precede authoritarian capture, but we do have the power to stop it. So, so that's that. That's that. Yeah.
Hey, has anybody checked on Manhattan? Is Manhattan still standing? I heard it was going to burn down.
No, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, they're Posobiec and all of his little Nazi pals are like, ooh, the police all the police are all over New York City, and it's gonna be so crazy tomorrow, and everybody comes out and gets super upset about Diaper Boy getting fucking not even arrested for hush money. Gives a shit. Nobody's gonna riot because of Mango Muffin Top and the poor money. It's not happening.
I look forward to seeing a bunch of groypers and Tutusky mobster looking sons of bitches getting worked over. That would be funny.
Most of them are already in prison. So like 1,000 people who Trump truly does not care about, you know, already has been indicted for January 6th. So I don't, you know.
Since I'm being angry today, there's one other thing to be mad about. Speaking of January 6th and prisoners. So Jacob fucking Chansley, the QAnon shaman, you know, cute boy with the fucking neo-Nazi tattoos who was on Nancy Pelosi's fucking podium, got out of prison today because of Tucker Carlson's spreading fucking bullshit about Jacob Chansley being escorted around like some kind of guest. That was total, absolute bullshit. That was not at all what the tape showed, but was cherry picked with some dialogue over top of it to make it seem like something it totally wasn't. And guess what happened? Jacob fucking Chansley's lawyer, like a good lawyer would, said, hey, it's all over the news that my guy didn't do anything violent, so you got to let him out of prison. And some pansy ass fucking judge was like, oh, I guess he didn't do anything wrong after all because Tucker Carlson said so. It's what? Who are these fucking judges, man? Who are these people?
Probably people that Mitch McConnell appointed. You know, probably people that Mitch McConnell raced onto the bench.
Actually, let's talk about judges and appointments because you know what?
Hold on, high five. 1 second. Hold that thought. Jim's doing voices and that's my favorite. That's my favorite. He was just doing
the voices.
He was just doing Mitch McConnell, and that is the content I am here for.
I'm not gonna get arrested.
That's the content I am here for.
Yeah, no, nobody else though. Nobody else.
Hi, FLYNNS. You were saying. Hopefully, you took in mental notes. What was you saying?
No. Come
Jim
on,
Jim was
you're
Jim.
like
It's
Jim,
gone.
you're like
It's
no,
gone.
no.
Jim
You're
interrupted
like
the moment.
No.
On,
Jim
man.
was Jim.
There you go.
Oh,
You found
I
it.
remember, because there was something I needed to argue with Jim about, so I'm going to do it live on cam right now.
Hell yes.
Okay, so ready, Jim? Here's what I'm going to argue with you about.
Come on, bro.
Because you, sir, were complaining about the Fuji's guy as a Chinese agent, right?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Remember you said that, and I would actually like to argue. You said the simulation just doesn't give a fuck anymore. The simulation hasn't given a fuck for a hot minute. I mean,
okay.
There are celebrities who are being used for political reasons, and I would like to give you a couple examples.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember that guy?
Yeah. This piece of shit, I know.
And the craziness this guy fucking caused.
But Adam Baldwin is not the fucking Fugees, bro. Do you know the Fugees?
Oh yeah. How about the star of
You're not moving me. This is the Fugees we're talking about. Who are these?
How about Nicki
people?
Minaj?
Nicki Minaj is hilarious. I'm sorry.
Nicki Minaj would never be used to spread propaganda, though, right?
That was my favorite.
That would never happen. And of course, we absolutely know that no celebrity would ever be used to push my country towards fascism. Because that would be a ridiculous fucking accusation.
So you're not arguing. You're just saying that it's unfortunately a bit more common than one would think. Aren't there indictments against celebrities who've been shilling for cryptocurrency but not telling people that they're on the payroll?
Yes.
Aren't there indictments for that?
There was a bunch of celebrities, and you know what happened is they all paid like a $400,000 fine, and it all went away.
Okay.
So,
but it is
millions of dollars for like 15 seconds of standing there going, this fucking moron who is worth $20 billion for some fucking reason, you should give him all your money because I play basketball and therefore fucking this idiot is somebody that you should trust because he's 28 years old and literally can't find his own fucking ass.
Oh, no. It gets better than that, man. It gets better than that. Dr. Charles Creel posted he was in a waiting room and he took a picture of the TV and it was an advertisement selling gold. And here's the phone number and here's the, and it was on like Fox News or something. So I looked up the website and the website for this television ad on some news channel had been created 57 days ago. Of course, I always make all of my financial decisions on a website made 57 days.
But anyway. So in defense of people who might get duped by this stuff, I do need to point out that when I interviewed victim after victim after victim of Trump's ACN, he was affiliated with a scheme about video phones, which was there's still a court case from 2006. I think it was filed maybe 15 years ago, probably. But there's still a court case going because when you interview people who get duped by celebrities, it's because there are tens of millions of people who believe what they watch on TV is true. So they believe that Trump was a good businessman and that they should give this organization money in order for them to get rich. That does not make them dumb. It literally is like we talk about the kind of brainwashing. It's like they see him on TV. He's got a big fancy show. He says this is a good investment. They got some money sitting around and they go for it and they don't know that they're the mark until they've given away all their money. And
because when you trust wash people like this, you pull people into their fucking NBC,
They're bad actor here, man.
Totally manufactured Donald Trump. He's like a crusty old creaking pedophile fucking mafia guy in New York who is bankrupt 6 ways to Sunday, and these fucking morons at NBC decide that they're gonna like blow this guy's hair and make him into some kind of a genius. It's one of the most remarkable backwards ass decisions that I've ever seen, except from a business point of view, because it made goddamn money, lots of money, because it didn't cost him anything to put Donald Trump in his fucking diapers in his office with some randos and then have him fire him. That was genius programming.
The same producer wanted to produce a shirtless show on Putin, so you kind of wonder, like, how far back does this game go?
Mark Burnett is dirty as shit. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. So.
You just said, yeah, "Fuck you, dude." All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
actually, you know what?
Mark Burnett's got all the tapes. He's got all the tapes. Noel Castler's right. He's got all the fucking tapes. Saying all kinds of shit.
Yeah. So
it's... and if he really cared about his country and was a patriotic American as opposed to a compromised whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's an evangelical nut job.
Money changes everything. So I do want to prepare people for the gnarliness that will ensue. It is going to be a fight to the finish in 2024. Somebody I don't know on Twitter who has very profound words every now and then said that this fight will probably not end in our lifetimes. If you're in your 50s, as I am, this is going to, I've known this is the fight of my lifetime, but I don't know that it's going to end in our lifetime. But we can beat it back. We proved that when we elected Joe Biden. 2024 is going to be amazing, but as Fred P. Wellman has taught us, we can't wait till 2024 to do the work. We have to do the work now in 2023. Part of that is just reacting and responding differently to chaos and destabilization. Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, because what did you say? Jim's over there choking at that mute.
Sorry.
Look, if you're smoking, mute. That's what I do.
It wasn't.
Oh,
I coughed. Give me a.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's what I got to say about that. Should we pull up Marty's article and cite a few phrases from it that Jim can argue with?
It's yeah, probably if I can find it.
Top of Heidi Kuda's Substack. This in
Marty. Yeah,
Marty on the King of Grift.
Marty on the King of Grift. Let's talk about Marty on the King of Grift, because that, I mean, it's not just a grift; it's a fascist power grab. But he's also a grifting son of a bitch too, isn't he?
He just made me laugh so hard, so many times. But I think the point of Schadenfreude must be sweet to the many carpenters and electricians, working people of New York who've been ripped off by Donald Trump. He did ask if Rudy Giuliani just opened up another bottle of Remy Martin in order to drown his sorrows, or was that noise just now the sound of the DeSantis camp opening up champagne bottles? And then he wondered if Putin perhaps threw a bottle of vodka against the wall. Speaking of walls, he said, did the wait staff in Mar-a-Lago safeguard all the ketchup bottles from being tossed? And then he pointed out something I think very astute. Who will be Trump's legal representative in New York City? That's going to cost Donnie some major dinero. He also pointed out something. Pause there for a second. Leave it there. He also wondered how Fox News would handle the drama. So I do think that Joyce White Vance is just somebody I think is so brilliant. And she has the most gorgeous chickens I've ever seen in my life. Her birds are so beautiful, they make me cry. Some people have suggested that the charges under consideration in Manhattan are insignificant. I don't see it that way. The Stormy Daniels incident is the origin story of Trump's effort to manipulate elections in unfair ways. So let's see how it plays out. But Jim, you're right. And I think I'm right. And I'm not sure about hi-fi.
I'm right a lot, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't think anybody's like absolutely 100%.
You know what I really wish you could find right now, and maybe Jim has it handy and we could pass the baton to Jim. I really want to hear the general that was interviewed by Marley in the Search for Q. He has that wonderful clip
General
about
Paul Eaton.
Yes, General Eaton. I can find it and send it to you.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if you're going to be able to play it with audio.
Yeah, nah, we're not gonna.
Well, you know what I'll do to anybody watching live?
Heidi, I just tweeted it today.
Okay, so. Good. I'm gonna retweet mine too, because I think it's important for those who are just tuning in to see that the work that we do is substantiated by people who really know what time it is and know the history of this.
Yeah, so. Paul Eaton said on the Search for Q, which was by Marley Clements, that QAnon was a psyop and that Mike Flynn should be recalled and court-martialed for it.
Yeah, so there it is.
You don't have to believe me.
Although I do.
Well, that makes one of you.
Yeah,
I believe you most of the time.
Hey, so one of our
I just don't believe everything all the time, ever. So that's the way life is.
Hi-Fi.
You must believe me, Hi-Fi. Don't you know I'm a cult leader? Believe me.
So
yeah,
Hi-Fi.
Fuck off, so am I. Big deal. who hasn't? All right. Anyway.
Hi-Fi, I am emailing you an anagram. Let me know if you got it.
That would involve me opening my email. Hold on.
See if you got the anagram. Oh gosh, I was going to say something about Jim's work. You know what? Like Jim and I are like.
Somebody's going to say something about my work.
Jim and I are separated by miles, and Hi-Fi is in a different state, and I feel like I'm getting a contact high, even though I don't partake. It's just working with you two stony dudes. Oh yes, I remember what I was going to say. Back before I knew that somebody was an operative, when I used to actually respect this person's work, and then found out later they were unoperative, I was being hammered for platforming you guys, like just, run through all kinds of crap. And I remember saying, oh, yes, you've hit on one of my character defects. I'm incredibly loyal to imperfect people. And because I'm imperfect myself. And here we are years later, still doing this imperfectly, but doing the best we can. And I'm proud of our scrappy show. I am so proud.
Well, I'd like to think I just played a part in either reopening a 15-year-old murder mystery or being threatened by the brother of the guy who probably planned January 6th. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, overall, right? Hey, let's have an anagram. I think we should have an anagram. What do you think?
Anagram. Woo!
All right, here we go. Ready? Donald Trump indicted. Donald Trump indicted turns to, I don't even know. Mind
cold dotard pined. I'm just going to say mind cold dotard pinned. I like it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've had an anagram.
It is. We need more anagrams. Anybody wants to make anagrams, hit me up. Let me know.
Actually, this particular viewer sent me some really good ones, but I haven't run them past you guys yet because they're like, oh, they're like,
I mean, as long as they won't get us sent to prison, I'm okay with whatever.
All right, gentlemen. So is there any news stories that we have not discussed yet? I feel like there's one or two things that Jim, you talked about MSNBC's negligence.
Well, I mean, there's Rick Scott. I'm not Rick Scott. Ron
DeSantis. Yeah.
Who's currently threatening to not give up Donald Trump. Hold him hostage in fucking Florida or whatever, and not give him to the feds, because the feds are coming down like carpetbaggers, and they're gonna come get our man, which is hilarious because Ron fucking DeSantis just got his ass handed to him by Donald Trump. Like the only coherent things that Donald said were nasty things about Ron DeSantis. That's the only thing he can form a thought about anymore. And still, Ron DeSantis tweets out that because of the Soros-backed, and he said it twice, the Soros-backed African-American district attorney is somehow, responsible for all this. How's that?
I was thinking back to when I was watching that baboon program, and one of the beta baboons.
Let's talk about baboons.
One of the beta baboons. He was, when he was trying to take over the tribe, what he would do is he would go around. He would go around and he would cause problems. All right, but every time the alpha caught him and like gave him a hard time, he stopped and act, like a subjugate to the alpha. But he was really just a beta, right? But when the alpha finally died, eventually that tribe, that beta took over. So what I'm saying is DeSantis is fucking coming. Pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that nature
there was
moment.
A connection between the baboons and DeSantis. We'll review the tape and figure out.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. All right.
All right.
Well,
it sounded good.
So thank you for that nature moment. High five. That's our.
I like nature program. Like David Attenborough, like he's basically like my third dad.
I'm sure he's very proud.
I remember. I go back to Mutual of Omaha. United
who was
Kingdom.
That? I remember that guy. He used to rep Marlon Perkins.
What?
Marlon Perkins.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his name? Mutual of Omaha?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah. And he was like
super
cool. He was super cool, and he talked about the animals and stuff.
I remember sitting on my grandmother's shag rug watching that on her big cabinet TV.
Yeah. And that's great branding because that's the only reason I know what Mutual of Omaha is. I don't even know what Mutual of Omaha. I think it's insurance, but that's all I know. Anyway, good job, Mutual of Omaha. You psyoped me.
I go back
Bastards.
I go back to Creature Features and Dark Shadows, which has nothing to do with nature programs, but I liked the scary monster stuff that they would show on Saturdays, and
And now we just went silly. So I think we should end on just one little picture, and then we'll call it a show.
Oh, right on.
All right. So here's our final picture of the show.
Thank you for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.